Atheists love to say that they do not believe in God. But give it about 5 minutes and they are preaching objective moral ideas like human rights and dignity and the nature of evil, as if these things were written on stone tablets and fell from the sky. They say there's no God, but they argue like he's very, very real. Today, I want to make a simple claim and then back it up. That atheists, modern atheists, are very dishonest about their belief in God or lack thereof. They'll reject the idea of God, and then immediately afterwards, when arguing with you, they will speak, and in most cases even act, which is a good thing, like he's very real. And again, that's a good thing. This isn't a gotcha. That's a good thing that they believe that God exists, really. This is just pointing out their unfair approach to people that admit that they believe in God. You see, the moral language that atheists use about dignity and justice and human rights, these things only exist if there is an objective moral order. And if there is an objective moral order, there has to be something bigger than man to justify that moral order. There is a classic philosophical argument for the existence of God called the moral argument for God, and it goes like this. If God does not exist, then objective moral values don't exist. Objective moral values do exist, therefore God exists.
Phase 3, profit.
Now, most atheists today do not deny objective morality. They will say that murder is evil. They'll say that there are objective moral wrongs in the world. They don't deny that. But here's the catch. On what basis? If we're just molecules in motion, if morality is just a cultural adaptation, then evil isn't really evil. It's just not preferred and unpopular. But atheists don't talk like that. They speak with absolute moral certainty. Listen to an atheist debate long enough and you will eventually hear moral outrage.
Goodbye, jackass. No, sir. No, sir. I'm hanging up on you right now. Nobody gets to speak to you anymore. Wes, you are an embarrassment as a pastor. And how dare you suggest that I, who am sitting here and can give you chapter and verse from your embarrassing book, am misunderstanding or misinterpreting it. You sit around there and you figure out how when it says that if a man lies with another man, they have committed an abomination or deserving of, how can you misinterpret that?
Not intellectual disagreement, not some kind of mild critique, but genuine outrage. And that should tell you something. If these morals are subjective, why get so angry? Why act like something is so wrong? Why not just not preferred? Because deep down, most of us admit and accept that morality is real, fixed, objective, and above us. Atheists just don't want to live with the consequences of admitting that. If the morality is objective, then so is its source. In philosophy, this is called borrowing capital. It's utilizing tools from a worldview that you claim to reject. For example, most atheists reject Christianity, but they accept the moral framework it has given to the Western world. Love your neighbor, protect the weak, every person has inherent dignity. These ideas don't come from evolution. They come from the book of Genesis, from the idea that human beings are all created in the image of God.
Read your Bible as interpreted by experts.
You can deny God if you want, but then why impose his values on the world? That's not science. That's spiritual plagiarism, if you will. And here's the problem with the common atheist claim that they only value science and scientific evidence. Science can only tell you what is. It can't tell you what ought to be. Science can't make ought claims. If the world is simply a cold, meaningless, and brutal place, then all science can do is explain a cold, brutal, and meaningless world. For example, evolution can explain how we got here, but it can't explain why evil things are evil. It can only say that it's maladaptive, and maladaptive isn't evil. If you want to say that something is truly wrong, not just an inconvenience for the species, you need a law above nature. And that's the realm of metaphysics and ethics. That's God's territory. That's outside of what science can do. And even Friedrich Nietzsche, who was no Christian, knew this very well. Atheists love to quote Nietzsche, God is dead, but then they don't quote the rest of the passage. That he said that God is dead and we have killed him, and then he went on a tirade to explain how that will lead to moral corruption and nihilism. He predicted the moral chaos of the 20th century because he saw that people wanted God's values but didn't want God. And he called it what it is, hypocrisy and cowardice. So why does this all matter for the atheist? Because civilization runs and operates on moral consistency. If we're going to have a world of rights, dignity, and justice, we have to ground those values in something objective and true and eternal. Otherwise, those are just opinions and preferences, and opinions and preferences can change and be overruled. You can't have justice without the judge, and you cannot have values without the value giver. So maybe the real question isn't whether or not atheists believe in God. Maybe the real question is, how long can they pretend that they don't while praying every day that he does? The tension can't hold forever. You either ground morality in God, or you surrender morality to the winds of preference and power. So choose wisely.